All right, everyone, welcome. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So hopefully you guys are getting ready for the celebrations and getting set up to spend some time with loved ones, family, and friends. All right, guys, I know a lot of my followers on social media are looking for ideas for creating the right content, creating efficient content, easy content. And that means blogging, whether it's for social media, whether it's for your business, or whatever the case it may be. I am a big fan of using these small compact cameras like the GoPro Hero 10 or any version of GoPros or any of the other action cameras that you guys may already own or are thinking about getting. So one of my favorite cameras right now that you guys can look at, like I said before, is the GoPro Hero 10. Let's take a look at this real quick. I got a couple of items in and I want to show you guys exactly how I set up my GoPro and how I'll be doing it in the near future. All right, so what we have here is a number of different items from one specific manufacturer, which is Ulanzi. So we have two cages. We also have a mounting system, and I also have like the Rode Wireless Go's that I will use for my audio. So what we're going to do today, this morning, we're going to go through and take a look at each one of these cages. We're going to unbox them as well as set them up, with the GoPro Hero 10. Now these cages do come in different sizes, so if you're ordering one of these cages, you're looking for the cage that is specific to your camera size, your camera model, or your camera brand. So if you're using a different brand other than GoPro, I'm pretty sure there is a cage out there for you. So if you're looking, say for instance, DJI or something like that, there's a cage for that as well. The mounting system itself is pretty much universal. So this will work with almost any action camera that you choose, whether it's a GoPro, whether it's, DJI or one of the others. It'll work, universally for those as a mounting system, and as well as the Rode Wireless Go's. They will pretty much interact with almost any of the different camera manufacturers. You're just going to need an adapter or some way of connecting the Rode Wireless Go to the camera itself. And that's what we're going to look at today, how I would go about setting these up and getting everything set up. Now, if you guys have watched one of my previous lives, I've already done an unboxing on the Ulanzi G9-5. And today what we're going to be doing is unboxing the Ulanzi G9-14, which is a little bit different. So we're going to start off this morning looking at a number of different things. So what we're going to start off with first is the Ulanzi G9-5. That's going to be our first box that we're going to unbox. So let me get some of this other stuff here off to the side. Just move some of these items out of the way. And guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask those questions as we go along, and I'll be more than happy to answer them in any way I can. And if nothing else, just say hi in the comments. You know how we do it. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is the box for the Ulanzi G9-5. Very simple boxing, very eco-friendly. So when you open the box, what you find inside is a GoPro mount that has to be attached by screws. It comes with the tools and a couple of screws that you're going to need in order to connect it to your cage. And then it comes with the cage itself. So this is the cage. The cage itself is metal. I want to say it's an aluminum cage, very well constructed, very high quality metal, as you can see here. Now it has a couple of components that are built into the cage already. One is this riser that is used to lift your microphone. If you're using something other than, say, like the Rode Wireless Go's and you're using just a traditional microphone, this will allow you to rise the microphone a little bit higher than the normal. Let's take this off. So this is the normal cold shoe for your microphone. And then you have an additional cold shoe here on the side. So if you wanted to place a microphone on top of this, the problem with this is sometimes the microphone will intrude upon the lens, depending on which lens you're using. If you're using a very wide angle lens, it's a good chance that the microphone is going to be seen in your shot. So that's where this little device comes in, is because it allows you to raise the microphone and then kind of offset it a little bit to the back so that it can better prevent the microphone from being seen in the shot. Now, to install your GoPro in this cage, it has a rear door. It just comes off like that. And it also has a side door, which is your pass-through door, which is going to allow you to connect your adapter. And this cage also has the adapter mount here at the rear underneath it. Now, I'm a big fan of this style cage because if I'm using my GoPro for instance, on my motorcycle or something like that, I prefer having the mic adapter underneath the cage. It just, makes for a much slimmer looking type of setup. And if you guys are not familiar with what the microphone adapter looks like, let me grab one. So this is the GoPro mic adapter. This is the only way, other than using GoPro's Media Mod, this is the only way that you're going to be able to get audio into your GoPro through the microphone. So you have to have this adapter. This is a must-have. So anyway, as we look at this cage, like I said, everything is metal. And, for the most part, when I first unboxed this, and I've used it, for a little bit, and I did go out and, do a little bit of, blogging with it. If you guys, saw that video, I did some behind the scenes footage on that. And what's cool about this cage that I really like about it is that it has a built-in 52 millimeter adapter here on the front, where you can add ND filters or UV filters or polarizers or anything like that already built in. Now, if you're like me and you don't use this style of modifiers, you can just remove this, because there's 3 screws in here that you can just unscrew it and take this piece off if you didn't want that on there for some reason. So let's put this one back together. And like I said, here's the door, and you can see here it has a little foam that presses in to make it easier, to secure your battery. Now, once you use one of these cages, remember guys, these cages are not waterproof. So if you use one of these cages with your GoPro and you're going into a very moist or wet area, you're going to run into some problems, because this door is going to allow water to get into your GoPro. So you want to avoid using that as much as possible if you're going to be in a water, logged environment. But most people who are using these cages are using them for blogging. And just like I was saying before, so here with our mic adapter, the mic adapter just fits in like so. And then you would be able to plug this into your GoPro just like that, easily enough. Now, underneath here, there's a little inset screw. And with one of these tools, you're able to tighten this so that now your mic adapter will be locked in place and you don't have to worry about it coming out, if you're out riding or walking around or something like that. So that's a really good feature. I like that. All right, so let's move to cage number 2. And I need to find my little knife. Okay, so let's get this open. So this one I haven't even looked at all. Just arrived yesterday. And let's get this plastic off. Very similar box to the previous box that we looked at. Very eco-friendly, simple box. So when we open this one, there's nothing else in the box. And here's our cage. Now this cage style is a little bit different because of the fact that they have relocated where the microphone adapter, which is this component right here, is attached. Now on this one, the microphone adapter is attached here on the side, and it just locks into place like so. And then once you place your microphone adapter in, you can also adjust the tension on it with this little screw that's right here. You can just tighten this down to adjust it. So if we take our microphone adapter and say, for instance, we're going to place it in like so, and then we would just tighten this down. And then you'd be able to plug your GoPro in like so. So it would just go in something like that. Very simple. All right, so that's how that one's set up for the most part. Now, what I do like about this is that you can remove this this adapter mount. So for instance, if you don't need a mount and you just want to run the cage on your GoPro for a little bit added, safety, this is a really good system. Now, different than the previous cage, if you remember, we looked at that one, the door comes out like so. On this one, there's a little button here at the top. You depress this button, push it forward, and the door opens like that. Okay? And then as far as the door here on the side, there's another button which you press forward, and then this door raises up. So either of these cages, in order to place your GoPro inside of them, you're going to have to remove the door that's here on the GoPro. So let's do that and we'll get started from there. So first thing I'm going to do is take this GoPro off of the mount that it's on. That's a little buckle mount. And then I'm going to remove the door. So I'm just going to pull down here on this side and open the door and just press and remove it. So now the battery and the SD card are now exposed. So if we were using, say for instance, this cage, we would first remove the door. We'd first remove the door, and then we would open the side door, and then we could place our GoPro inside like so. It's a tight fit. And then what you'll do is you'll just kind of fit this in. It's kind of fiddly, but you fit this in until you feel it click. Then you close the door, and then you're able to close this rear door to secure it in place. You just want to line that up. So now your GoPro is inside of this cage, and if you wanted to add your mic adapter, it would just fit in here underneath, like what we showed before. So let's take the mic adapter, and we would just fit that in like so. Now we're able to plug directly into our GoPro, and now we can connect a microphone to this system, which works out really well. And I'm telling you guys, this feels really good in the hand. It's weighted. So, I mean, if you guys want something a little bit lighter, there is a much lighter version of this that's available. I reviewed that one a couple of weeks ago, which is a plastic version of the same similar cage to this one. Now it has some of the same features, but it's, it doesn't have the riser and things like that. But for the most part, if you wanted something that's much lighter, you could go with the plastic version of it. And the plastic one right now on Amazon is $19.90. Now this one that I'm showing you here is $45.95 for this one. Like I said, this is an excellent one. And then once you attach the little feet that go on here, then you'll be able to connect this to any GoPro mount or buckle system or anything like that. You can connect it to any of those. Now, like I said, for me, one of the other advantages that you have here is that you can connect this to a standard tripod. So as you see here, you have a standard tripod quarter plug that you can just screw in right here for your tripod. So that's also an accessory that a lot of people pay extra for, and that's already built into this specific cage. Now, placing it in the other cage, let's take this apart real quick. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to move our door. And we're going to remove the back door. And then at that point, we can just kind of push our GoPro out. I hate touching the lens, but you know, they're waterproof. They're pretty rugged cameras. But always clean your lens every opportunity that you get. You know, I learned that, you know, the hard way on some shoots in the way long time ago. You know, if you don't check these lenses for fingerprints and stuff like that, you can be amazed, you know, what can happen. So I always try to keep one of these little cloths, you know, like this. And I just go over the lens and the screens, you know, just to keep everything pristine, especially the back screen, you know. And then there also are a number of screen protectors that you can find here on Amazon that, you know, work out really well. My GoPro Hero 8, I installed screen protectors on that one. My older GoPros, like this Hero 5, doesn't have them. But, you know, it's been a very rugged camera and I've had no problems with it, no scratches on the lens or anything like that. So I've been very, very lucky when it comes to that. Okay, so let's look at this new cage. So we've already removed our door and we're going to just depress this little red tab here at the top. Now it's a little tight, but it'll be like that when you first get it because, you know, you're going to have to work it in a little bit. Now you can also add a little bit of oil to it that, you know, can make it, you know, a little bit easier. So I'm just going to slide the GoPro in. I'm going to clip that door closed and then I'm going to close the base. So at that point, the GoPro, for the most part, is ready to go. Now this one, different than the first cage, has its own set of little feet that's here at the bottom. And it also has an area where you can connect a traditional tripod into this. So if we're going to be using this, like I said before, for, you know, blogging or something like that, then you're going to need this mount. Now this one, like the this cold shoe here, is the only one that has this little indentation, if you guys can see that. And it also has a little ball bearing here on the back of this mount. And what that allows it to do is when you place it in, it locks in place for the most part, and it stays there. Now there are other cold shoes. Let's see if those will fit. Yeah, you could force it in somewhere else, but then that's going to put your, you know, your cable quite a distance away from where your, you know, your plug is, you know. So I mean, that's putting a lot of tension on the plug. I wouldn't do that. And then you do have another cold shoe here on the other side. So now these other additional cold shoes, like I said, you can use these for microphones, you can use these for lights or any other accessories. So that's pretty cool. So let's just set this up real quick. So we're just going to connect this in here. And we're going to raise this up to about the normal height and just tighten it down with this little screw. Now we have that in place. Now I can just, you know, turn this however I want it and then plug it into the GoPro. Okay, so at that point, we're ready to connect our microphone directly into this GoPro. And like I said before, since you have these little feet, that makes it really easy to connect it to like a buckle mount or something like that. You know, just connect that in here. And let's just drop a screw in there. And there we go. It's a little heavy, especially, you know, with the microphone adapter being on this side. It's going to make a little bit of weight. It's going to kind of lean a little bit to that side. So, you know, just trying to suspend it on just nothing more than a buckle mount probably won't be necessarily a good idea, but it can work. So the next item that I want to show you guys is the Rode Wireless Goes, which is the audio system that I use when I'm out blogging. And the version 1 comes with two units. It comes with a transmitter and a receiver. So the receiver is just the part of it that connects to your camera. And the transmitter is the actual microphone. So this is the microphone that would actually be on your person, or you put it on a little stand or whatever you want to do in order to connect it. But to connect this to the GoPro, it has a little clip here in the back, and you just take that and slide it into the cold shoe, and then it just sits like that. Then the only thing that you need at that point is a cable to connect it to your GoPro. Let me see if I can find the cable. It's always one or two somewhere around here. Oh, there's one. Okay, let me grab that. Okay, so I grabbed the one off of the Rode Wireless, the Rode Procaster, but it's basically the same cable. Now the cable that comes with this is a red one. I just took the one off of the Rode that I use for some of my other devices. So this would plug in like so. And then this side would plug into your receiver. Now, of course, you can do a little bit of, wire management or something like that just to get everything set up just right. All right, just making sure everything's okay with my audio, that I didn't accidentally turn off my audio, because that has happened before. So like I said, basically that's, everything in a nutshell. So you have, whether you're using the GoPro Hero 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, it doesn't really matter. You can find a cage for it. And for the most part, all of these items that you see here are going to work. So for this blogging cage, you can find it here on Amazon for $49.95. Now, if I had to look at the two, and I'm comparing the two cages and how I utilize them, yes, as I think about it, I do like the idea of the mic adapter being underneath, but I think for the most part, the second cage, which is the Ulanzi the G9-14, this is going to be my keeper. This is going to be the one that I work with, going forward. That's just what I see. So the advantage to this is if I'm not using a wireless Go or something like that, or some other type of microphone, it's easy to detach this. This does not come off. Well, it does come off. You can take it off with screws, but that's going to be a pain in the butt, because now you got to carry tools with you everywhere. This one, I can just pop it off and, off I go. Now, the other thing that I use a lot, that is also another Ulanzi product, is the Ulanzi GP-16, which is their magnetic mounting system. Now, this system I've become a huge fan of. So when you purchase the Ulanzi mounting system, which is this, I call it is the Super Snap mounting system, but if you wanted to search it here on Amazon, it's the Ulanzi GP-16. Now this comes with 3 components. It comes with a bracket for your GoPro or whatever your action camera is. It comes with the magnetic attachment that allows you to connect that bracket to other things, like, say for instance, tripod or monopod or whatever you want to connect it to. And it also comes with a third component, which allows you to actually wear your action camera on yourself, like a little, around the neck type of lanyard system. And I'll show you how each one of these work. Okay, so this component here is the actual piece that would connect to your GoPro. Now, one of the problems that I did have with the first cage, if you attach the little feet that go with this is going to make the cage sit up really, really high on the bracket. And you can see how much higher it is on the back of the bracket here, right? Because it has to have that distance because of the little metal feet, then the mic adapter, then the cage itself. Now with the second cage, once you attach it, as you see, it sits very flush, almost like it's a part of the system, right? Then we take a mounting screw and just throw a mounting screw in there, like so. Now it's connected. Now what I like about these magnetic mounts is that you can also use them kind of like a little tabletop, a little stand. So if you want to just set your GoPro or your action camera up on something and you want to just be able to, just simply get it at desk, height, that works perfectly. Now that's not the main purpose for it, but I just, one of the benefits I found that really works out really well for the system itself. So as you move forward, you have one more component. Well, 2 more actually. So this is the second component. And this one you would normally attach to, say, like a monopod, or like for instance, I have the little GoPro Shorty, and we're going to just attach it to that. So just take the little screw out here, and then we can just place our mount in there, then put our screw back in, just like that. Now what happens is, if I want to connect this GoPro to this mount, it's just that simple. Magnetically, it's connected. So if I want to take it off, I just pull it apart. Now remember, because this is magnetic, that means that anything that's metal, now I can attach this GoPro to a wall, a metal wall, or a pole, or something like that. As long as the majority of the magnets can make contact with whatever it is that you're trying to connect it to, you're going to be good to go. So each one of these has 4 magnets on each one of the components, and those all connect. So like there, that's now connected, and I just drop my finger in there so you can see how strong those magnets are. So that's, for the most part, a very simple type of setup. And then with this little mini tripod, now I can set this up on a desk, or if I want to do some time lapse, I can take this out somewhere. Now this is going to be a little bit heavy, so if you wanted to raise up the tripod, and I'm just want to test it just to see. So the weight is not causing the tripod to collapse. So that means that this little mini tripod can support this weight, and this cage is much lighter than this cage. And when I originally used this cage and I was placing it on this little mini tripod and I would raise it up, what would happen is the weight from it would cause the tripod to close. So this is really good to see that, we're all seeing this together, guys. This is the first time I've ever used this cage or experimented with it. So you're seeing it real time just like I am. So that's a win for me, that I can get all of this stuff on this cage, the cage, the mount, the tripod, everything on here together, and it just works. So the little mini Shorty tripod, you can get this on Amazon for $28.49, which is a really good deal. It closes up, and then you can always use it for your selfie stick. So if you want to walk around and you want to tilt this forward just a little bit, so you can record yourself, this is a win. Any way you look at it, this is a win. So what else do we have here? So if you guys have watched some of my other lives, throughout the week I do different things on different days. Mondays is pretty much Photoshop and retouching. So if you guys are into photography and learning how to retouch your images, once you capture them with your action camera or your smart camera, your smartphone or something like that. If you watch my lives on Mondays at noon, I usually go into Photoshop and I spend a little time working, talking about, very simple ways that you can use Photoshop and Luminar AI and Capture One, which is another application that I use a lot, when it comes to editing my photos and collecting my photos and when I'm shooting in studio or something like that. But let's move on to the next thing. Let me show you this real quick. So like I said before, one of the things you're definitely going to need is this microphone adapter. There's no other way to get audio into your GoPro other than using this microphone adapter or purchasing GoPro's Media Mod. Now, the Media Mod has its advantages as well. One, that it has an HDMI, so if you're connecting this to a to a television, or you're connecting it to one of your video switchers, that kind of, brings in a much higher quality video into your system if you're streaming or something like that. Now, I use my GoPros all the time for live streaming. So what I do is, if you're using a GoPro provides you with a very simple app that you can install on your computer, Mac or PC, plug it into your GoPro, just a regular USB cable into your computer, and your GoPro becomes a webcam. So now you have at least a 1080p output for your webcam, and you can place it anywhere as long as your cable, can reach. I have some friends that are using these for lives, and they'll have one like way up, on the wall somewhere, for that, that's immersive, entire room, wide angle shot, or maybe some will use this for their Zoom calls, and just place this right above their laptop or right above their computer, and you're just kind of looking into the screen. Now, one of the advantages to the GoPro Hero 10 and 9 is that they now have these front-facing screens. So when we turn this on, you're actually able to see yourself in this little screen. And that, gives you an idea of where your camera's looking and, how to frame yourself and things like that. I use it a little bit. I mean, it's not really a big deal for me, when I'm, if I'm going to be showing myself on a live, because I have my other monitors. But the advantage to that is if you're out walking around and you're blogging and, talking about things and doing commentary, you want to be able to see yourself and see, that, you have a really good angle on yourself, and you're also able to include a lot of the content that you're wanting to show to your viewers. So, that's a win. Okay, so the Rode Wireless Go's are the ones that I have are the Generation 1. Now, there is a Generation 2 that is, I believe it's $100 more, and we can look at that real quick. So let's go back over to Amazon. Okay, so we're on my page now. So if you guys haven't seen my page, this is it. Rome Knows Tech. You can find all of my shoppable videos and photos and stuff here, as well as, my lives. You can go to the look at some of my previous lives here on this, so if you haven't followed, hit that follow button. All right, so we're going to look at the Rode Wireless Go. So we're looking for the Rode Wireless Go 2. So the Rode Wireless Go 2, do they have them in stock? Yes. So you can purchase them, without lavalier mics. You can purchase them with lavalier mics. But here's the one here on Prime. And this is without the lavalier mics. It's just the Rodes themselves. So if we want to take a look at those are $266.99. And that gives you 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. So that means you could connect this to 2 different people and be able to, bring all that audio into one device. So whether it's your smartphone or you're using a, GoPro or any other action camera, you're able to bring those in. Now, some of the new features that the Rode Wireless Go 2 allows is that now you can record. These actually are able to record independent of being connected to a camera. So they have now the ability to connect these directly to, record internally, like some of my other, smaller microphones, or field recorders can do, which is really, really cool, I think. And then another thing that I like about them is that now with this new updated version, you can use these for podcasts, because Rode has its own little free application you can download that you can use for podcasting. And you can do a lot of the similar things that you can do, say, with the Rodecaster Pro. You're able to, adjust your audio. You're able to add effects and things like that. So that's pretty cool that for, $266.99, you can get a system that will work for your action camera, your smartphone, your DSLR, your mirrorless camera, or you can connect it directly to your computer and record that way. So, you're only limited by your imagination and your, how you want to apply this. But I think this is a very, very powerful tool if you want to use it for, those type of applications. So let's go back and let's see what else we got here. Now in the carousel, one of the other items that I have listed in the carousel is this magnetic clamp. This too is a really good, little tool. It's the GoPro magnetic swivel clamp, and I have one here. I'll show it to you. Let me switch back over. Okay, so this is the swivel clamp, and it's basically like a really, really strong chip clip. But the top bracket allows you to swivel this. So once you connect something to it, you could turn it pretty much however you want to. Now, what's cool about this, you can connect, put this on a desk, I see a lot of people use this like on their backpacks. They'll put it on one of their backpack, shoulder straps, and then just have their GoPro facing forward. But remember, this is also magnetic. So that means this surface here at the bottom is magnetic. So you can attach this to any metal surface, and then you're able to, do similar to what we're doing with the Ulanzi magnetic mounts, but this is one that is, from GoPro. All right, so let's go back over. So that's one of the items that I wanted you guys to take a look at. I look for items that I think, for the most part, will benefit you as content creators. These are things that I use and I've used myself, quite frequently. And even some items that I wish I had purchased at an earlier date, and I didn't realize how much I could benefit from these things. Like I shoot weddings, I shoot corporate events, as a photographer, videographer, and a lot of times I'll use these GoPros as like B and C cameras, and I will set them up, somewhere where I'm just getting a wide angle from one side of the room and then maybe another one on another side of the room. Even the older, GoPro Hero Sessions, I still have one. This is a 4K camera, and I'll use that, basically the same way. I can use this to record, audio and video, and then I can bring it into post and edit it. Now, what I really like about these little ones is that I can place this at a wedding on the bride and groom's table, and it just sits on the table. So as people are coming up and talking with them and congratulating them and all that kind of cool stuff, this little camera is just like a fly on the wall. It's just recording all of that, that content that I can use to, complete their wedding video. So, it is what it is. So did we miss anything? I think we've covered everything that's in the carousel. Just want to make sure we did. Yes, we did. Okay, so let's go back and look at the GoPro itself. So if you guys are interested in this new GoPro, right now here on Amazon, this GoPro is $489.99. And I'll tell you what I like about it, And I see a lot of people, they'll do reviews on these cameras and they'll have I got my 5 things that I like and my 5 things that I don't like. Well, I'm going to tell you guys, I haven't found anything significant that I do not like about this camera. Okay. So the ability for it to be able to shoot in 5.3K at 60 frames, up to 60 frames a second is amazing. And 4K up to 120 frames a second. And if you want to go down in resolution a little bit, so you can go to 2.7K, and now you're able to record up to 240 frames per second. So if you want to do some, really super cool slow-mo, like you see in all the GoPro promo videos, where people are out there skiing and surfing and skydiving or, riding, I don't know, riding bulls or whatever it is, that's a very important ability for your camera to be able to shoot in those high frame rates. But at the same time, to the other side of the scale, if you are someone who is a content creator and you want to create something, say for instance, that's more cinematic, you can shoot in 24 frames a second, which is, traditionally what most motion pictures are shot in. And almost every one of the resolutions also have a 24 frames per second option. So you could shoot at 5.3K at 24 frames a second, and you're going to get a really large, very high quality image at 100 bit rate, and then still be able to shoot at the 24 frames a second. Now, you can also do that in 4K. You can do that in 1080. So, you're only limited by, what your computer can process and what you really want to capture. For the most part, I do most of my captures in I would say 4K. Now that may be 60, 30, or 24, but if it's just for content where there's not going to be a lot of movement, then it's going to be 24 frames a second. If I know there's going to be something that maybe I want to slow down, for instance, then I'll shoot 60 frames a second, because then at least at that point I can slow it down to half speed in a 24 frame per second timeline. So that's a win. And it comes with the new lens, the hydrophobic coating on the lens. Now, if you're out doing some action stuff and if the lens get wet, the drops won't accumulate on the lens. Now it just, kind of just comes off really easily. The front-facing screen is a lot better than it is on the Hero 9, which is also another good thing. And after the recent update here, I think it was 1.20, all of the things that I had seen people that have been complaining about that weren't ready on release day, all those things have been taken care of. So if you purchase your new GoPro, as soon as you get it and you turn it on, it's going to tell you there's an update waited for you. And if you install the app on your smartphone or your tablet or something like that, you just do your little update and man, your GoPro is ready to rock. That's what I'm saying. All right, so we've looked at our GoPro. We've looked at a number of different cages. We looked at the Ulanzi G9 V, which is $45.95. We looked at the Ulanzi G9 14, which is $49.95. And then, like I said before, there is a plastic version of this same cage. So if we go back over here, and this is the plastic version of the cage. You can get this one for $19.90. And as you see here, as you look at it closely, it has some of the similar features where your microphone adapter goes underneath. The majority of the GoPro is open. You have two cold shoe mounts that you can attach accessories to. You do have a pass-through door, which is a little plastic pass-through door, which allows you to plug into your GoPro with your adapter. And on the rear, the door opens very similar to the way it does on this one, where the door, folds downward, opening so that you can then put your GoPro inside of it. I like that. Now, I had the plastic version and I returned it, but not because it wasn't a good solution. It just wasn't right for what it was I wanted to use it for. Now, one of the other really cool things about this plastic one, if, for instance, you don't want to use your microphone adapter at some point, this cradle for the microphone adapter can also be removed. So you can just, remove it from the cage itself and just use the regular feet that come through for your for your GoPro. So, you only limit it, here, there's no limitations. So, I mean, you have the cage, you have a way to mount your GoPro, as well as the pass-through door. And this is the plastic version of it. So like I said, for a $19.90, it may be a really good solution for a lot of people. And especially if you want to be very, low key and you want to be, light, kind of run and guns, scenario, this may be the best option. Now, like I said, for me, the metal cage was my choice. And, this is the one I think I'm going to stick with, using this, the Ulanzi G9 14. I think this is going to be my little, this is going to be the one I'll use for my GoPro Hero 10, blogging setup, as you see here. So, what do we get? Let's go back to... All right. So, that's pretty much it, guys. I think, I really like this setup. I like the weight. It feels good in the hand. I will do a little bit of cable management, so that cable won't just be, hanging out there. I can probably find some place that I can route it, possibly down underneath and then just come up and connect into the adapter. But, I'll worry about that later. But like I said, it's not heavy at all. I think this setup here, this cage by itself is just as heavy as this entire setup, because this is a heavier grade aluminum, I think. And, it has its pluses and its minuses, but, that's what it is. I like the idea that the door is attached and it's a lot easier for me to open and close the door, for this specific cage. And, the other issue that like I said, I had was that this door is really finicky, getting it on and off. And that can be, a pain when you're trying to, change your battery, or if you wanted to change your memory card or something like that, especially like when you're out riding or you're out doing things. You want these things to be as easy for you as possible, to get to them. So, all right, that's pretty much it, guys. This is the older version of the cage. This is the newer version of the cage. They're very close in cost. The Ulanzi GP16, right now you can find that for, let's jump back over here real quick. The GP16, let me highlight that real quick. Okay, so you can get that for $29.95, and you get all three components, including this little lanyard. This little lanyard here, you know, it goes around your neck and has a little adjustable strap that you can, you know, adjust it however you need to. So, you know, all those little items, you know, they come in handy, just tremendously come in handy when it comes to getting out and just creating content. I'm a big fan of it. You know, any way I can, you know, speed up my workflow and get out there and have fun, you know, focus more on having fun than I am focusing on the gear that I'm dragging around with me, and my gear becomes like a pain, you know, to use. I don't want that. I want something that's going to be easy, that's going to be easy for me to place in different places, and it's going to be secure and it's safe. That's my goal when it comes to, you know, finding the right gear for whatever it is that I want to be doing, you know, with my action cameras. Now, like I said before, and I mentioned this in a couple of other lives, and I'm going to show you guys this real quick because probably not that many people are talking about it from any of the other lives or YouTube things that I've seen. So this is a smartphone mount that you see here. So what we have here is the Manfrotto little smartphone mount, but you can use pretty much any smartphone mount will do basically the same thing, right? And you can see here I have it connected to another of the GoPro little shorties. But what's cool about this is that everything you see here can work with your smartphone. So I'm just going to take this little mount off, and then I'm going to take the GoPro. I guess I can turn it off. So I'm going to turn the GoPro off, and I'm going to take it off of the mount. Okay, so that's our GoPro off the mount. So here is our little smartphone mount, and you're going to need this one little piece that you can find here on Amazon. I can put it in a carousel for you guys. This one little piece here at the very bottom, that's just to allow this to be able to connect directly to the Ulanzi mount here. So what you could do here is you could take this, let's say we connect it, and there you go. So now you could attach your smartphone to this. Now it's magnetic, so you could still do the same thing. You could, you know, connect this to your fridge if you're doing like a cooking tutorial, or to a, you know, somewhere in the bathroom if you're doing a makeup tutorial and all you have is your phone. You could use basically the same things, or, you know, go a little bit further, you know, and get the mounting system and a small tripod. Then you can connect your phone to this, and then you could easily run around with this and do your blogging. Now, if you look closely here at the very top of this smartphone mount, there's a cold shoe. So you could take your GoPro, your Rode Wireless Go, and we could connect that right here on top. And then with the small adapter, because you'll need an adapter depending on which phone you have. So if you're an iPhone or an Android, so if you either have USB-C or if you have, you know, whatever iPhone's connector is, you just buy the adapter for that. Then you can plug that directly into your phone. Now you're getting that super crisp audio from the Rode Wireless Go directly into your phone as it's recording video. And then you have your microphone on yourself, whether it's on your shirt, blouse, or, you know, on a little mic stand. If you want to connect it to a little mic stand and just put it in front of you, and you want your phone to be a little bit further away, you know, something like that, you know, just to give yourself a little bit more range. You know, again, you can incorporate all these little items together and create, you know, the perfect workflow for yourself. So again, like I said, guys, I'm always looking for ways that I can experiment with things and I can speed up my workflow and I can put different items together that are easily interchangeable, where I can take one and say, oh, okay, today maybe I just want to use, you know, my Note, you know, 20 Ultra Plus or whatever it is, you know, and, you know, or I want to use a GoPro, or I want to use, you know, whatever. So even this little action, this little GoPro Hero Action will still mount on the same mounting system. So like I said, you're not limited to whatever camera you have. If you want to go with a mounting system like this, a little magnetic mounting system, it just works perfectly, for any smartphone, as well as the, see my dog over there? He's crazy. But whether it's a smartphone or an action camera, whichever the case it may be, this little magnetic mounting system will work for you guys perfectly. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to bring this live to an end. Hopefully everyone is going to have an amazing new year. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys are out there creating. If you're not already following me, please do so. If you find the content interesting or entertaining or whatever the case it will be, follow me here on Amazon, because I will be doing this 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. I go live for about an hour, and sometime on the weekend, I'll pop in and, I may just do something on the, Friday, Saturday or Sunday or something like that. Now, like I said, Mondays are pretty much Photoshop and, touch up, retouching ideas, traditional cameras, the lenses that I use, what works best for me, lighting, different type of lighting scenarios and simple lighting diagrams that I can teach you guys so that you can kind of better improve the images that you're shooting, capturing yourself or capturing for someone else. Wednesday going forward is going to be kind of a mixed bag. Some Wednesdays it'll be on motorcycle gear because I am a biker, and a lot of these same things that you see here I also use for my helmets and motovlogging. So I try to give some content to my motorcycle community. Fridays is usually going to be something similar to this, where we are going to be looking at different items and doing unboxings, demonstrations, setup, that type of thing. So if that tickles your pickle, so you can watch me on any of those 3 days. All right. But until then, everyone stay safe. Have a happy new year. Take care of your loved ones. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. And get out there and create something amazing. I will see you guys Monday in the new year. Until then, stay safe. Peace. I'm out.